is going on, fantasy people? It is your boy John with the catch alongside my co-host Steven. What's going on, man?
Hey, y'all doing, man? Hey, I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. It's a good weekend. I had a good weekend on the belt, getting ready one day closer to fantasy football. I know we're about to start up our family leagues and our friend leagues as well. So just got to get that competitive edge, man. Time to kill it.
Absolutely. So we do want to give a quick shout out to two of our new subscribers, Madison Dockery as well as Made for TV underscore. Madison requested an 8-man mock draft with the number 1 overall spot as well as the 6 overall spot, and Made for TV has requested some more joint mock draft videos. And
Mhm.
like we say, we are here for you guys. Whatever you guys need, whatever is helpful for your personal fantasy football leagues, please drop below in please drop in the comments down below. And while you're at it, please subscribe for more future content like this, as well as go ahead and hit that like button, baby. So, who is excited? I am excited for fantasy football, and like Steven just said, I've got the number 1 spot today. Steven has got the 6th overall pick.
Mhm.
I am just going to get this draft going, get it kicked off with Run CMC. This should
Oof. There it
be,
is.
I don't care if you're playing PPR, half PPR, standard. In my opinion, this is your number 1 overall pick.
Mhm.
As much as I like Derrick Henry and Alvin Kamara and Dalvin Cook, I don't think there's any debate. So, who you going for with that 6 overall pick, Steven?
Dude, I would love to have Alvin Kamara somehow make it to this 6th spot here, but I don't think he will. So if he does not, I'm looking at maybe, man, this is an interesting spot. This was a good request by Madison too. This is a tough one. I'm going to honestly be looking for Alvin Kamara though, or Nick Chubb even, because Nick Chubb I am really high on this season.
Interesting. We had Jonathan Taylor taken 3rd overall in this mock draft.
Just went right before me. Alvin Kamara is gone.
Yeah.
Now I got Zeke Elliott. A lot of buzz on him this season. I think he's going to be really good this year. And I think Hard Knocks is going to boost his ratings too, because if you're on Hard Knocks, you're going to get even more popular. So I'm going to go ahead and just take him off the board right now.
Zeke looks good too. He's had a great
He does.
offseason. I think that Dallas Cowboys offense, I mean, we've already talked about it a little bit, but I think they're going to have a great year, similar to what we saw earlier in the season last year. So,
Mhm. So let me ask you a question real quick. We had a comment this week asking about stacking Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams. Would you stack Zeke Elliott and CeeDee Lamb?
personally, I would target more of a Dak Prescott Zeke combination just based off of where CeeDee Lamb is going and what position I'm typically drafting when he's going, and I would target Michael Gallup late. That would be
Okay, I like
my.
that.
I mean, I don't dislike it. I mean, if CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper are the best receivers available, and you already have Zeke, I don't think it's a bad idea by any means. I think it is a good team to start considering to stack. But
Mm-hmm.
in that
Oh, on the
tier,
clock.
yep,
On the
you're on the
clock.
clock.
So right here, I got Saquon Barkley coming up. Injury concerns out the yin yang, right? But this guy has unlimited potential. But this is a situation where I have Zeke Elliott, Mr. Consistent, already drafted on my team. So I'm going upside here, and I'm taking Saquon Barkley as the instead of the alternative Aaron Jones.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I would have personally gone with Aaron Jones, but I'm starting my personal stock on Antonio Gibson is starting to get a little bit higher and higher.
Absolutely.
I was not as high as him, earlier in the month and last month, but I'm starting to like Antonio Gibson as well as that Washington football team in general a lot more. So, but that is a topic for another night. So, with these 8-man leagues, it's really important. You're going to end up with a better roster overall than, 10, 12, or 14-man league. And it's really important that you do kind of evaluate who is the best player available, really regardless of position. So for me, I like to go running back early. I like to go running back heavy, but in an eight-man league, you may not be drafting two running backs in a row or even three running backs in a row. So let's see here. My
Oof,
turn to draft.
I like this. You got some good guys on the board right now.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, it's either receiver, or running back, or Darren Waller at tight end in
Dude,
this
I love
tier.
Joe Mixon, man. This guy is
Uh,
volume written on his forehead. I love him.
I'm gonna steal my guy right here.
DK. Oof.
Yeah, yeah, you already knew it before I said it. Yeah. Oh, that's
DK
right. I have two picks in a
Metcalf.
row. I got two picks. So I'm gonna go with my other guy, and there we
Najee
go.
Harris.
Yeah, yeah. I hate to be boring, but sometimes you have the players that you like, players that you see me select in other mock drafts, and if your guys are available, then and when it comes time to actually draft it, that's who you're going to be taking. So, um, a lot of people would have considered Calvin Ridley as well as Justin Jefferson, even with a little bit of concerns with a little shoulder injury coming up in this past week. But I think he'll be good to go by the time the regular season gets here. Um, but DK is my guy. I'm huge on DK this year, so I'm happy to go ahead and take him as my number one receiver and go ahead and shore up that running back position as well. So
So I'm anxiety out the yin yang right now, waiting for Joe Mixon to fall to me. If I could somehow get Joe Mixon and Zeke with that,
sorry,
oh
sorry,
my
brother.
gosh, oh my gosh, this kills me because now if I'm looking at running back again, I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's an upside guy, but is he going to see that consistency? I'm not sure. We switch over to receiver. We got Justin Jefferson. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and take Justin Jefferson.
I think it's a good pick. I think he's
Yeah,
going to be good to go by the regular season. And you just look at what he did in his rookie year. I mean, he's
he's a
going to have a
beast.
monster year yet. He is.
He's a
He is. Yeah.
he was one of my favorite players to watch in college football, and definitely nothing changed there because when he went to the league, that guy ripped it up,
He
man.
took
And
it
it
right off.
it was funny those first couple games, right? You didn't see him do much, and then he had that one monster performance, and it was like that was a wrap. This guy's gonna be a fantasy beast the rest of his career.
Absolutely. As we see Clyde Edwards-Helaire off the board. Going to be a large run on receivers and running backs here. And we'll probably see Darren Waller go. That was pretty coincidental there. So for myself personally, I'm starting to look QB, RB receiver here. I mean, eight man leagues have a little bit of a challenge where there's going to be a lot of good players when you're drafting. There's going to be a lot of good players on the waiver wire, and there's a lot of talent floating around, and you really have to pick the right guys at the right time. So, see
And these
Josh Jacobs
quarterbacks,
off the board at 25.
that's really, we do not recommend that. That is not a recommendation
I
from
don't
me.
I don't
Not right
necessarily
now. Not right
a
now. That's
little
way
early,
too
a
early.
little
Way
early, but
too.
I do think as the season draws closer that Josh Jacobs is going to be moving up on draft boards as we see our boy Scary Terry off the board, and now Steven has a selection.
So I'm looking at, it would be great to have another running back to add to my stable. David Montgomery. Obviously, we are both a fan of this guy. But I want to stick to receiver, somebody that I've been getting a lot of buzz out of right here. CD Lamb. Sticking Cowboys. I brought it up earlier. Can you stack CD and Zeke? Let's test it out. Let's see how it looks. I personally think both these guys are up for a huge season.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick and it's a good
Yeah.
strategy. Sticking to your guns, solidifying the strategy that you brought up. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good pick. You got two good receivers, two good RBs, and I am hoping that David Montgomery falls to me.
You're coming up soon, man.
Yeah.
After your pick, I do want to have that conversation or pick, shall I say. There is a good conversation to have about, stacking and what offenses can you stack about. I think that maybe is a podcast we should drop in the future because when you look at offenses, you don't want to stack from a whole lot of teams, but there certainly is a few that you can do that with.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I feel like I am getting two steals here at the end of the fourth round and at the top of the fifth.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
solidified in my running back position. I don't need to worry about running backs, you know, really for quite a while in this draft. And then you already know what time it is, baby. You already know what
Oh
time it is.
no. Oh
How
my
did this
God.
guy slip to pick 33, even in an eight-man league?
Jeez.
Let's go. Best QB in the league, no
You're about to
question
shut down
about
on
it.
quarterbacks, then, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
and I talk about this, a little bit in some of the other mock drafts. Is if you are the person who picks the first QB, it's a very strategic thing to do because it kind of allows a couple skill position players to slide a few spots, and it allows you to select more skill position players a little bit later on, as we see Josh Allen off the board, and now Steven over there. I can see him sweating.
I
No
am. I
QB
am.
on his team.
I am.
Yeah,
Here's the thing though. This draft has turned out to be a hell of a time. This is actually a fun one, and I'm going to stick with that. Sometimes you just want to draft a fantasy football team, which is a fun fantasy football team. Kyle Pitts, tight end, Atlanta Falcons. This is I'm going to be my eyes are going to be glued on this guy, so I might as well be watching him on my fantasy team.
sure. I think that's an interesting pick. I didn't see you selecting Kyle
No,
Pitts this
I
year.
know.
Do
Hey,
you think
here's the
realistically you'd take him in real life?
Probably not, but I do think that there's a ton of upside with this
Yeah.
guy. I think he has a really good chance to break into that top four tight end set.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: you prioritize the quarterback position. I wanted to get my four guys, so my two running backs, my two receivers, and then get my tight end squared away. And I see a nice tier of quarterbacks here coming up
Yeah.
next, and so that's what I'm targeting because I'm coming up here
Sure.
real soon, and there's some good quarterbacks still available.
Yeah, I
Let's see
think
who
you'll
we got.
definitely be able to get a
I'm
good QB
targeting.
still.
I got Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray.
Yeah, you're
Hopefully,
gonna get one of them with
yeah.
yep, there you
And
go.
Kyler Murray. That's who I wanted. So I'm very happy with how I handled that situation because now my team has two major upswing guys: Saquon Barkley, Kyle Pitts. If those guys hit, my team is I think
Sure.
locked and loaded for a great season.
Sure. So you're gonna draft Dak Prescott later on as your number two,
Yeah, yeah. Let's get a trio set
and
with the
Michael Gallup.
Cowboys. Then, yeah, I'm going all Dallas
Cowboys
Cowboys, man.
defense. Yeah.
Hey, that Hall of Fame game just got me itching for the
There goes
Cowboys. So
Dak Prescott, as we also saw TJ Hawkinson off the board as well, and your boy Daryl Henderson off the board. Now
I do like him some.
I've got some decisions to make as my draft picks are creeping up on me. As Russell Wilson, quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks, is taken. So once again, I feel very fortunate to have these two picks in a row. And considering that this is a PPR league, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shore up the receiver position. I'm going to take Julio Jones off the
Great pick.
board, and
Great
I'm going to
pick.
take the number one receiver in Carolina. Sure. Value in terms of getting a lot of targets this year from Steven's second favorite quarterback in the league, Sam Darnold, right after
Donald, I'll take
Zach
you an
Taylor.
Indy.
So
I'll take you an Indy.
I'll take my boy DJ Moore off the board. But I like the value of Miles Gaskin here.
Yep.
I like Tyler Lockett here, but I don't want to stack both Seattle receivers. And I really like Adam Thielen, especially in standard leagues. I think from a scoring standpoint, he's going to have just around 10 touchdowns this year. So
I see it. I see regression in Adam Thielen, to be honest. I
I
do
do
think.
too. I do too. But I think in the red zone that he will have a good year.
Okay, so I'm looking at my receivers here. Got Cooper Kupp and Tyler Lockett and Adam Thielen at the lead. Come back to running back Miles Gaskin. We're going to be doing a video of him later on this week talking about how late round, mid round running backs. I think Gaskin is a guy that can be a 3-down back, hell of a pass catching running back, and he's a PPR machine because he knows how to catch it. That's
Sure.
where I'm taking, trying to solidify that run game
Yeah, I like it.
because I shifted from my strategy early, man. And you know me, I'm a big RB heavy guy. And, I've kind of switched to the receiver a little bit earlier. And so now I need to really shore that up.
Yeah, I'm liking your roster overall. I mean, like you said, there's a little bit of a question mark on some of your players, but if it works out, then the upside potential there is excellent. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, I'm just gonna put it out there. My team is better than yours right now, but we'll just keep
Hey,
drafting.
it's not over yet, man. This is the rounds that count the
Yeah,
most. We say it all the
yeah.
time. This is
And
where you prove.
with these 8-man leagues, I mean, it moves fast. You got to be on your P's and Q's here as we see Travis Etienne off the board as well as
Come on,
Justin
Kareem Hunt.
Herbert.
Come on, Kareem
Steven's
Hunt.
hoping for Kareem Hunt to
I
slide.
got him in my queue.
Yeah, and
Hey,
Adam.
this is what happened last time. We were in a mock draft together last time, and he got
Yeah,
picked a pick before me. Let's see if it happens again.
yeah.
Oh
I
my
think you
gosh.
definitely have a shot of him sliding to you here as we see Damian Harris off the board, number one RB in that New England Patriot backfield. So let's see who Bill's gonna pick.
I'm
If
sweating.
Bill
I'm
picks Kareem
sweating.
Hunt, I will track him down and I'll pay him at least $5. So who else are you liking here as you start? You know, I mean, that's kind of the thing you got to think about. If you have a sure guy that you want to draft and you're 1 or 2 picks away, you
Mhm.
got to have that next player in line. And I mean, luckily you don't have to because the LA Rams defense is off the board. But
Yeah, yeah. So to be honest, I think this is a situation where I'm going to maybe deviate to the receivers here, and just take a look. I'm really high on Brandon Ayuk this season. I think he's going to be one of those year two breakout type of players, and he's going to. But the one thing about him, he's not super. He's not going to add that consistency where I know, like, okay, coming into week one, this guy's going to be a killer. But it's another upside player to add to my portfolio of upside players as it is
yeah,
already.
yeah, I like it. I
But
am
Kareem
liking.
Hunt, taking him, I like that.
I like these receivers available right now as we
It's
see
a
Adam Thielen off the board. But uh, you know, for myself personally, I can tell you I'm probably going to shore up a tight end here because I do like the rest of my roster and I want to get that out of the way. But other than that, I'm probably just picking the best running back or receiver I see. Um, although I've gotten pretty heavy receiver, and I am happy with the 3 receivers I have. So we see the Washington football defense off the board as well as Tyler Lockett. And now Tim is the only thing standing in between myself and my next selection as he takes James Robinson. So I am torn with what to do because there are a couple players that I really like here. And I'm just going to go with my gut and I'm going to go with the boy, the man, the myth, the legend, Cooper Cup,
Cooper
PPR
Cup.
League.
Has
PPR
he ever
League.
been described as that in his whole
He
life?
has now. He's no longer a boy. He is the man, the myth, the legend, right? And then I'm going to shore up who I think is a lock for the number one running back in
Yeah,
Atlanta, and Mike Davis. And I'm going to bail on the tight end position and kind of hope and pray that a couple of the guys I like fall to me
there's
as
some
this
really good guys.
progresses. Yep.
So
So
Brandon Ayuk is still available, and same with Deontay Johnson. I'm high on both those guys.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
It
So
was a little bit of a concern that Deontay Johnson got hurt in that Hall of Fame game. He got up
yeah.
slow, and I was like, please, no, baby,
A little
please.
bit of concern with Chase Claypool very shortly after as well,
Mm-hmm.
as he really went out. He like extended his entire body. I mean, it
He's
was
a beast.
a great catch, but you definitely don't want to see that in the first preseason game of the year.
All right. So Brandon Ayuk is still available. So I guess other people aren't as high on him as I am. I've been hearing a lot of fantasy buzz about him though. I mean, I think some guys are really like starting to gravitate towards him because of this San Francisco offense, this Kyle Shanahan offense. And I think people are starting to realize that Trey Lance is going to come in there sooner than later.
Is that your pick? Yep.
Yep. I started my queue, I learned from last time where I auto drafted Hawkinson, what was it, like the 4th round or something? I don't know how I got out of there with a good draft.
Well, debatable. I mean, my draft was good. I don't know about yours, but as we see Chase Edmonds off the board, oh, draft board. How sick.
Let's see here. What do you think about DJ Chark? DJ Chark's an interesting one. I think he's in a
I,
new.
Yeah, I like him at the value of where you can get him.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think, there's a lot of targets in that offense, and I guess kind of the question mark, stems from we just don't know exactly who Trevor Lawrence is going to be favoring. We don't know exactly who's going to end up with a share of those targets or how the offense as a whole is going to look. I think, we have relatively good faith in Trevor Lawrence, and I think a lot of people do. But he's still a rookie quarterback. It's still the first year in that offense under head coach Urban Meyer. So I think there's just a little bit of hesitancy there. But I think out of the receivers um, in Jacksonville, I think DJ Chark is certainly the best pick and a great value at this point in the draft as well.
Yeah, he is good. I've also heard a lot of buzz about Marvin Jones, which is pretty surprising to me, but he actually has been doing well in Jacksonville's camp.
I
Um,
yeah.
so here at the receiver set, obviously both of us love Robbie Anderson, but just to be a little bit different than usual, I want to go into and take T. Higgins, who was really good for me last year. When we covered the AFC North, we were both very high on him this season too.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's actually been having some struggles in camp. I don't know if you've heard that, but I really hope that doesn't lead into the season too. It would just be so terrible if that injury derails this guy.
Uh, yeah, I have heard that he's been just a little rusty, a little slow to get back from that injury, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't doubt him whatsoever. I think he's going to be able to bounce back, and I think we'll see him on the field week one as well. What do you think
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Let me ask you this question: What do you think about Kenny Galladay here in the 10th round?
I'm out. I mean, 10th round's decent value for sure, but I'm kind of out on Kenny Galladay, and he actually is injured now too with a hammy, I believe. And it's like you get those camp hamstrings; those stick for a long time. And I'm just not really buying too much of this Giants receiving core because they got Daniel Jones throwing it to him.
Sure, sure.
I'm out right now. I'm out.
So I know I said I was going tight end, but I've got two players who I think are of insane value at this point in the draft who just will kind of shore up this roster outside the tight end position.
Oof, Chase Claypool.
So Chase Claypool, I mean, we're recording this, so he's the guy I've got pulled up, right? So I like that value a whole lot. And then this might surprise you, might surprise others, but I'm going to shore up the quarterback position. I'm going to pick A-Rod here,
Ugh,
and that'll give me a great quarterback to stream
yeah.
out in Week 12 while Patty Mahomes. I mean, Aaron Rodgers being your backup to Patrick Mahomes is pretty absurd. I think Aaron Rodgers has an extremely difficult schedule this year, some very good defenses, but
Mm-hmm.
he is still last year's league MVP, and I have no qualms with him being the number two quarterback on my fantasy
So I'm
squad.
going to actually defer to you while I make my next pick. I want you to kind of talk through the strategy of drafting two elite quarterbacks because I think this is something that a lot of people are interested in. It's because there is something to be said to you can choose from two elite quarterbacks what matchup is more preferable every single week of the season and go into the playoffs with a preferable matchup every week. That wins you championships and that wins you regular season games too. So can you talk about that for a little bit?
So I mean, I guess there's a little bit of risk, and I mean, it just kind of depends on how elite you're talking, right? I mean, and it also depends if you're in an 8, 10, 12, 14 man league, et cetera, et cetera. Because if you're in an 8-man league, it's definitely doable, as we just saw. I mean, I got Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers in this mock draft. And even in a 10, 12-man league, you can certainly draft a guy like a Lamar Jackson, a Kyler Murray, a Josh Allen pretty early on, and end up with someone like Ryan Tannehill or a Tom Brady later on, as Steven selects David Johnson. So, but I do think that it's still possible, even in 10 and 12-man leagues, to theoretically take a Patrick Mahomes and then spend a high price on a Kyler Murray or on a Dak Prescott or a Russell Wilson. And as long as they don't have the same bye weeks, which I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, I think there's definitely value there. And like you said, down the road, it can definitely win you a championship, help you get to the playoffs. If you're in a super flex league, then obviously it's a good
Yeah.
strategy and a strategy that a lot of people use. But uh, for me
I don't
personally, go ahead.
no, yeah, I just want to say like this is something neither of us do or
Sure.
have done in the past. And it's something that maybe I'm going to take more consideration to in 12
Yeah.
man leagues is I might look at a quarterback a little bit earlier, late in the drafts as a backup
Sure.
than I haven't before because there have been tons of situations where I've had a static quarterback and I'm still facing a terrible matchup. And I'm like, what else am I going to do? And the quarterbacks can really put you over the top. But the more people that are in your league, the more that you need to place premium on some skilled guys positions. I just took Michael Carter again. This is a player when we covered the AFC East, I really dove into, but I love his upside. I think this is a guy that's easily going to be the number one back for this Jets offense that has a strong offensive line and will be getting all the catching duties on this offense too. So I think this is a guy who, if you're in a half PPR type of lineup, he could end up being a pretty serviceable running back for you.
Yeah, I do like what you've done at the running back position, especially with Saquon being on your roster, and kind of having some of these guys in later rounds, like a David Johnson, Michael Carter,
Mm-hmm.
as well as Miles Gaskin. So I think you've done enough to kind of solidify that selection of Saquon Barkley to where, if we do see him fully healthy this year, or even healthy past week 1 or week 2, that you're going to be in good shape either way. So I can tell you for my next selection, I'm taking 2 tight ends. Yeah.
Dallas Goddard, man.
I am going to leave,
Jeez.
no disrespect to Logan Thomas, who I think is actually going to have a very good year with Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing the football in that offense. I'm taking my guy, Robert Tonyan, and then I'm taking my other guy, Mike Gesicki, and I feel very, very
Mm-hmm.
good about this roster. I will say that I wanted to shore up that tight end position as I was thinking of doing so like 4 rounds ago. But the other selection I considered here would definitely be a defense as well. But I do think a good enough defense will slip in an 8-man league to where I'm not very worried about it.
So I always make defense my last pick, right? Um, this is a situation where I drafted Saquon Barkley. I'm kind of in this quandary right now. Do I want to tag and grab like a Booker who is currently going to be their starting running back week 1 or 2 potentially? And the fact that it's an 8-man league, I don't think I do want to do that because I think I've got enough guys on my roster that can easily outperform that guy if he plays. If this was a 12-man league, though, I might actually want to do that because, if you take a Saquon, you're really hurting week 1 potentially at that running back spot.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good handcuff situation, even if
For
it's only
sure.
for a week or two. I mean,
So,
go ahead. Yeah.
so I'm on the board now. And Will Fuller's not going to be in there week 1. But I don't know if there's another guy that's as explosive that is still available. I'm going to take him and just kind of hope that he's my dartboard type of receiver right now.
Sure. Yeah, and obviously there's a lot of really good football players available right now. Uh, and these are guys who will not be available, obviously, in 10 and 12-man leagues at this point in the draft. So just keep that in mind as well. That you're going to get good value in an 8-man league. In rounds 13, 14, and you could argue even 15 as well. I mean, it's less people playing, less people drafting. More players to add to rosters. So I'm very happy with this mock draft on my end. So
Yeah.
I'd give
Well,
you like a solid B minus.
B minus.
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah.
That's like worse than saying a C plus in my opinion. Like the fact that you're saying a B minus. Jeez,
So
jerk.
I am, I mean, realistically, if this was a draft for a real league for myself, I would probably be considering forfeiting a kicker here and taking, maybe like a Kenyon Drake if he slides, or James Conner, or even an Antonio Brown. As long as you're playing in PPR. But for the sake of drafting, I am just going to go defense kicker here. As we see, the 2 players I just talked about go off the board in Kenyon Drake and AB as well.
So I'm going to draft it as if it was my real team here. I'm taking no kicker because I'll stream that dude week 1. I don't care. This is somebody I drafted in the last mock draft, Curtis Samuel. I'm pretty high on this guy. I think he's going to get a lot more opportunities
Yeah,
with the Washington football team than is currently being kind of
yeah,
baked into his price. This is a guy they're going to get jet sweeps on, screen, dump offs, running it straight out of the backfield. And he's also a hell of a wide receiver, too. He just didn't get a ton of looks in Carolina. This is a guy who I think is going to be a breakout player with Washington.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, Steven does kick or pick kickers very early, usually like round 5 in real life. Just a little front he's
If
putting
you're,
on here.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
will say that I think
Big Adam
Curtis.
Vinatieri guy.
I will say that Curtis Samuel I think is going to have a fantastic year. I really do. I'm very high on that Washington football team this year, which we'll get into in our annual D Catch podcast this week. But I also just want to point out in the 8-man league, Ryan Tannehill in round 14 is that's it's
That's a
absurd. I mean,
steal.
he is gonna literally shit on some defenses this year.
Yeah.
No better way to put it. Excuse my French. So I am going surprise, surprise defense kicker here. So in honor of Steven, I'm going to draft the Indianapolis Colts defense, and then just so he can't have them, and then I'm going to go with kicker Jason Sanders of the Miami Dolphins, who put up 172 points last year. I don't know why he's so lowly ranked as a kicker. Not that I think Steven and I really care, about kickers, but he had a monster year last year, no matter how you want to put it. And also, like, I left this guy on the board for you, Steven, even though you said you're forfeiting a kicker. But Rodrigo Blankenship of the
A
Indianapolis Colts
beast.
had 150 points even last year. I mean, Tyler Bass, probably the best kicker available right now of the Buffalo Bills, just slightly above Rodrigo Blankenship. But don't sleep on Blankenship, whether Carson Wentz ever plays again or, Gardner Minshew is playing for the Colts next year. Blankenship's going to have a great year. So,
He is. So this is something I really do like to take a look at when I'm drafting a defense is who they're going to play week 1 and who they're going to play in
yeah.
their division. I think that is something pretty critical to when you're drafting your defense. And that's why I think Indianapolis, I mean, our offense is struggling right now, but the fact that you get to play Houston twice this season and you get to play like Jacksonville, who is, they're going to be learning more than anything right now.
Yeah.
It's not a bad pick. With that said, though, I think the best available defense that I can take right now is probably going to be New England. And that's because obviously Cleveland's still on the board there, but
And
they have to
Miami.
play. Yeah, but
If Miami goes
yeah,
undrafted, that's just messed up, man.
I'm taking the Patriots. I think Bill
They're gonna have a good
Belichick
year.
could.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I don't dislike the pick, but
I think Xavier Howard's going to be gone. I think that's going to
I
hurt
don't.
that defense. You
I
don't? You
think
think he's going to say?
they are. News speculation is that they are closer to an arrangement. As we see, Jarvis Landry drafted by Bill, and now we will see who the final pick of our mock draft
Who
is.
is
If it's like in real life, I mean, I just
Mr.
Miami.
Irrelevant? Let's see who it ends up being.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, come on, Arian. Where's this suspense? It's killing me, Arian.
It's Bruce. He's- Bruce
Yeah,
Arian.
Bruce Arian.
Wow, that was
Daniel
very.
Carlson. That was
Yeah.
super anticlimactic.
All right, let's crack down these teams right here. All right, do you want to break down your team personally?
Nah, man, you do it first, dude. I love
Oh,
you,
you
man.
want me to
Go
crack
for
down
it.
my team? All right, let's do it. All right, so QB position, I got Patty Mahomes. I think at a great value. I mean, come on. Drafting
Let's
Patrick
go.
Mahomes anywhere is a great value, right? And I shored up that position with Aaron Rodgers a little bit later in the draft. So I really like what I did at the quarterback position. I think in an 8-man league, it's as good of a league to draft 2 quarterbacks. You know, receiver position, I did go ahead and snag DK Metcalf with what some may say was a little bit of a reach, but like I said, that's my guy. I'm following my gut instinct. That's who I wanted. But there, Calvin Ridley was available, Justin Jefferson was available, so some other good receivers on the board at the time. Followed up by Julio Jones, who I would still argue is a little bit of an upside pick, a little bit unsure of how that's going to work out with the Tennessee Titans. But I do think overall he's going to have a good year. And I felt good about that pick because right after I got DJ Moore, who we know is
Mhm.
going to eat up all those targets from Steven's favorite quarterback, Sam Darnold, excuse me, second favorite quarterback behind Zach Wilson. Uh, and then we've got Cooper Kupp as well as Chase Claypool. So our receiver position, in my opinion, is looking very,
Yeah,
very strong. And then we move over to the RB as I have what many would say is the best running back in
for
fantasy
sure.
football. Yeah, with the number one overall selection, I did pick Run CMC, Christian McCaffrey, followed up by Najee Harris, my guy David Montgomery, who Steven is also very big on this year. And then I've got Mike Davis, who maybe not the most exciting running back, but let's face it, he is definitely the number one running back in that Atlanta offense. And at the tight end position, I've got two guys that I am personally very high on in Robert Tonyan, who tied Travis Kelce for the most touchdowns by a tight end last year. You've probably heard me say that a million times by now. And my guy Mike Gesicki, followed up by Jason Sanders, Mike Gesicki's teammate. Like I said, around 172 points last year.
He's a
And
beast.
Stevens defense rightfully on my team and not his with the Indianapolis Colts defense. I like this draft. I think I absolutely killed it. I want to hear Stevens' defense and why his team was better than mine.
So I defense I can't really say though because the New England Patriots only projected 105 points. But let's look at this team right here. I mean, you start off with Kyler Murray. I think a lot of people are looking at him like this could be the guy to become that number one quarterback that next season. I think all the pieces are falling into place. His scrambling abilities obviously are out of this freaking world. But then you got Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb as my wide receiver ones. Both these guys can come in there every single game and put up double digit points and be league winners by far. I like both of these guys next season. And CeeDee Lamb, I'm telling you, I really think that this whole Amari Cooper thing, Amari Cooper should not scare you away from CeeDee Lamb. I definitely do not think that. And then Zeke Elliott, I got their running back too. So I did the tandem between those guys. Zeke Elliott, if you're in that sixth spot, Madison, this is going to be somebody that you probably get the potential to get. And I think you should because he's going to see a pretty high volume and he's going to be on a great offense that is going to lead to a lot of rushing touchdowns. And he's a hell of a performer in the pass game too. Can catch out of the backfield. He's a killer. I would take him if you get the chance because the alternatives, they're a little bit more shaky. Saquon Barkley being shaky in that perspective. But the reason I took Saquon Barkley is I'm confident enough, both off the waiver wires, the things I can do to keep myself relevant, that if Saquon Barkley is healthy for the playoffs and the back halves of the season push, he's going to be a league winner. He's going to make me beat my opponents. Just the fact that he's literally a top two running back in the league. And if he wasn't injured at all, he would probably be drafted as such as well. Kyle Pitts, that was probably one of my more inconsistent picks with my draft philosophy. Kyle Pitts is somebody that rookie tight ends, it's often rare that they are really good in their first year. But at the same time, too, we've never seen like a Kyle Pitts come out of college before. This guy is a league, like a top wide receiver at the tight end position. So I think there's a little bit of justification there. And then we go to my flex spot here. That's really going to be Myles Gaskin or Kareem Hunt more than likely every week because I want to put a running back in there more than likely. I think Kareem Hunt is somebody that gives me a heck of a lot of PPR potential on a great offense. But Myles Gaskin gives me PPR potential too, and potentially a 3-down back type of role. So after that, I'm seeing a ton of bench guys that I think are going to offer me consistency for my team. Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, David Johnson, Michael Carter, Will Fuller, Curtis Samuel. All these guys are, I would say, guys that I can plug in on bye weeks, guys that I can put in on favorable matchups. Like, I don't know, is T. Higgins going to play against some crappy defense? Yeah, he's going to. And Joe Burrow targeted him like crazy last season. Let's not think just because his boy from LSU is there now that he's just going to forget about him. No, T. Higgins is proven in the NFL that he can do it.
I agree.
So Yeah, I mean, so like when you go to those late round drafts and you're really looking at depth at that point, you're looking at two things. You're looking at upside potential, and you're also looking for consistency in ways that maybe you see an injury or something. You need to have a guy there that can step up.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you got a lot of good upside in terms of PPR leagues. In terms of your flex positions and bench players as well. So, I mean, I think you had a good draft overall, but let us know in the comments down below who had a better draft,
Yeah, I
myself
want to
or
know.
Steven. We definitely want to know. We also just want to give another shout out to any new subscribers,
Mhm.
anyone showing us love and support in the comments down below. Any feedback is greatly appreciated. Like I said at the beginning of this mock draft, please let us know how we can help you personally in your own fantasy leagues. Would you like to see more 8-man drafts, 10, 12, 14? PPR, have PPR, let us know. We are down to do whatever. And with that, I will say thank you so much for watching and or listening. Like I just went over, we appreciate you all so very much. Please consider subscribing to the channel for more future content like this, as well as our annual The Catch podcast. And go ahead and smash that like button while you are at it. Steven, I will let you say goodbye.
Yeah, no, I just want to double down on that. We really appreciate all the feedback this week. We've seen some great support from you all, and just want to say too, this is not our channel. This is our channel, all of us, and everything you guys put into it, it really does matter. We want to hear new strategies, like when do I start taking a tight end, for instance, right? Or when is a certain running back really somebody I should be targeting? So anything, just give us that idea and we will go ahead and punch it through for you.
Yeah,
But thank you
absolutely.
guys so much. And I hope you have a great rest of your evenings, weekends, nights. Just have a great one
Absolutely. And remember, everyone, you saw it here on the
on the
catch.
catch.